Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Welcome back, friends. Welcome to another video lecture by Kami Biology. In this video lecture, we are going to talk about the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, so let's start. First of all, let's explain the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell with the help of diagram. Now, this one diagram, as you are watching at the left side, this is the eukaryotic cells. Okay, so why it is eukaryotic cell? Because they have cytoplasmic organelles, they have well developed nucleus, they have cell wall, cell membrane, and this cell is complicated. On the other hand, this one cell is what? This one cell is very simple. They don't have cytoplasmic organelles, and if you see, they don't have true nucleus. They have cell membrane and cell wall as well. Okay, so this is actually a little difference between diagrammatically, that how we can identify the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. So let's go to the next slide. Now let's talk the difference between the definition of the prokaryote and eukaryotic. So if we talked about the definition of the prokaryotes, so usually prokaryotic cells, those cells they don't have a true nucleus. If you see in prokaryotic cell, they don't have a well developed nucleus. On the other hand, eukaryotic cells have a well developed nucleus and they have true nucleus. Okay, so let's go. Now on the next slides, they says that organisms. So remember one thing: when the cell, those organisms which is made up of eukaryotic cell, we call that eukaryotes. Okay, and when the cell which is made up of prokaryotic cell, then we call that prokaryotes. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now next slide says about the nucleus and the chromosomes, mean the difference between the nucleus and the chromosomes of the prokaryotes and eukaryotic cell. Now if we talked about the nucleus of the eukaryotic cells, so they have membrane bounded nucleus and more than one chromosomes. Okay, on the other hand, if we talked about the prokaryotic cells, so they don't have the nucleus, so it means they have also no membrane bounded, we can say they don't have membrane bounded nucleus, as well as they don't have nucleus. Moreover, they have chromosomes, but actually the chromosome is not true chromosomes, we can say. They have chromosomes in a circular form, which we call that plasmid. They have DNA in a circular form, which we call that plasmid. Okay, we already talked about the plasmid and everything in a detail, so you can go back to my channel and you can watch it. Now then we have the cell types. Now what type of cell actually eukaryotic and what type of cell prokaryotes? Okay, so eukaryotic cell, they are multicellular, means eukaryotic cells are usually, they make a multicellular organisms. Okay, what they make a multicellular organisms. For example, we have plant cells, we have plant and humans. So if we see, for example, let's take me as an example. So I am a human being, so I am a multicellular. Okay, so I'm made up of eukaryotic cell. And let's take the example of the plant. So plant is also a eukaryotic cell, it is also a multicellular. Okay, multicellular means which is made up of many cells. And eukaryotic cells, or if we talked about the eukaryotes, so they are also made up of unicellular as well, means they have also one cell. For example, we have protozoa and we have paramecium. Both are the microorganisms. Now if we talked about the prokaryotic cell, so prokaryotes or prokaryotic cell are those which is made up of one cell, which we call it unicellular. For example, we have bacteria, or it is also made up of different cells and different kinds, means which we call that multicellular. For example, we have cyanobacteria. Let's go to the next slide. Now next slide talked about the cytoplasmic organelles. So if you remember in the diagram, we watched that prokaryotic cell don't have cytoplasmic organelles and they don't have true nucleus. On the other hand, eukaryotic cells have cytoplasmic organelles, means they have what? They have lysosomes, peroxisomes, Golgi bodies, chloroplast, ER means endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, etc. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now let's talk the cell membrane and cell wall, the difference between cell membrane and cell wall of the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now eukaryotic cell, if we talked about the cell membrane in case of eukaryotic cell, so they have cell membrane and cell wall. But remember, they have cell wall in case of plant cell and in fungi. In human cell, they don't have cell wall. So that is very important point. Okay, And on the other hand, if we talked about the prokaryotic cell, so prokaryotic cell have cell membrane and cell wall, but the cell wall is very complicated and complex. But keep one thing in your mind: in case of mycoplasma, they don't have what? In case of mycoplasma, they don't have the cell membrane as well as cell wall. Now let's talk about the ribosomes of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic. So eukaryotic cells have usually larger ribosomes, means ATS. What does it? It means that it is made up of 40S and 50S ribosomes. Okay. On the other hand, they have. On the other hand, if we talked about the prokaryotic cell, so the prokaryotic cells have what? They have also 70S ribosomes. Okay, means it is made up of 30S and 40S. Now let's talk about the cell size. Eukaryotic cells are usually large in size, and their size is 10 to 100 micrometer, meter, or we can say micrometer usually. Prokaryotic cell, if we talked about the prokaryotic, so it is smaller than eukaryotic cell, and the size of these cells is 1 to 10 micrometer. Now let's talk the flagella, the difference between the flagella of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. In eukaryotic cell, they have very complicated flagella, and such flagella are actually microscopic in size, and the flagella have also a membrane. Okay, the flagella have what? The flagella have also a membrane, and moreover, this flagella contain 9 doublets surrounding 2 singlets. Okay, I already explained the flagella in much more detail and their structure, everything. Okay, if you missed that video lecture, so it is present into my channel, you can watch it. Then they have, then we have the flagella of the prokaryotic cell. In prokaryotic cell, they have submicroscopic in size, means they have very small flagella as compared to eukaryotic cell, and moreover, their flagella is made up of only one fiber. In this case, their flagella is made up of different kinds of the fiber, but they have fibers, only one type of fibers. Now if we talked about the example, so we have animal and plants which are mentioned in the eukaryotic cell, and we have prokaryotic cells. Bacteria and archaea are usually mentioned in the prokaryotic cells. Okay, so these are the examples of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. So that's all about the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cells. Okay, there is a lot of differentiation, but these are the main differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. I already explained in a detail about the prokaryotic cell structure, everything about the cells, and there is a separate playlist present into my channel named cell biology lecture, so you can also watch in a detail about the cell structure and everything. So okay, I hope you understand about this video lecture. If you like this video, so make sure to hit the like button, share this video. If you have any kind of questions in your mind, so inshallah I will give you answer as soon as possible. Okay, so you can write your questions, you can share questions with me, and also subscribe the channel and press the bell icon and subscribe the channel for more interesting videos lecture. Okay, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.